What's going on, everyone? Jose G here for Sporskeeda Wrestling. Tonight on the Debrief, Rico and I are going to cover everything that went down on last night's WWE NXT. We now know what the main event for NXT Takeover in your house is going to be, with Karrion Kross being involved in a fatal five-way, plus Ember Moon's calling out Raquel Gonzalez, and who can stop MSK in the NXT Tag Team division right now? We're going to talk about everything on NXT tonight on the Debrief.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Sporskeeda Wrestling's The Debrief. I'm your host, Jose G. And next to me, the top chico himself, Rico el Glorioso. And we are here to talk about NXT, everything that's leading up to NXT Takeover in your house. Just 3 weeks from Sunday. Is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks, Rico? I think your audio is off, dude.
It is in 11 days, Jose. It is on
in 11 days.
June 13th, so a week and a half. So a week from Sunday.
Man. Yeah, Takeover in your house is looking real good. We got a unbelievable main event so far. A fatal five-way Karrion Kross against. We're going to cover all of that, but that just was just one thing on top of another. But then we also got Ember Moon calling out Raquel. MSK, I thought Legado was going to be able to take out MSK, but MSK continues with their stronghold on NXT Tag Team. So overall, man, what did you think of last night's NXT before we dive into all the details?
I thought it was fantastic. I feel this is something that they needed, especially fresh off the heels of an amazing Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which I was luckily able to get a ticket last second and make it there in person.
Yeah, you did.
Freaking amazing pay-per-view in person. So they need to step up their game coming off the heels of that, and they can do it. If any other program has the talent to step up to what we saw in Double or Nothing, it is NXT. So I can only imagine what they're going to try to do at NXT TakeOver in your house to really offset what was done by AEW this past Sunday. So they're going to hold out. They're going to pull all the stops. They're going to now hold back. And we saw that right off the bat with what the main event is going to be. So I'm excited, and this was a good way of kicking it off.
I completely agree. And before we dive into all the details about last night's NXT, guys, make sure you are subscribing to our channel on YouTube. Sharing is caring. If you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you're sharing tonight's show in your favorite wrestling group. Tag your friends in the comment section. Make sure you're engaging with the show. Show us the thumbs up, the heart emojis, the laugh emojis, the wow emojis, the angry emojis. Let us know what's on your mind when it comes to NXT, because we are building up to a pretty big show come 11 days. And you're absolutely right. Coming off the heels of Double or Nothing this past Sunday, NXT, they want to up their game, and, they're doing that. They're doing that leading up to NXT TakeOver in your house. In the opening match, man, just in the opening match alone, we got to see the triple, which I thought it was going to be the main event, by the way, the triple threat match for the number one contender spot to Karrion Kross's title. Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne.
Oh, it was so good. We didn't even know which way they were going to go with this. Figured somehow, I assumed it was going to be Pete Dunne just to get a simple one-on-one against Karrion Kross. I wouldn't have been mad if it was, Kyle O'Reilly, especially what they're trying to build with him, or even Johnny Gargano, because now that he's, fresh off the loss of the North American Championship to Bronson Reed, it's nice to see him back in the main title picture, which he even said in one of his video packages that, last time I did it for you. This time, I'm doing it for me. So all three guys stood an amazing chance, and honestly, I can't believe I forgot about him, but I forgot about Adam Cole, and sure enough, he made his presence belt. He laid out everybody, and that's why he did do it at the beginning of the show. We assumed, like you said, like that kind of match is a main event. Like that is a main event for NXT, but there was still so much more of a story to tell that they had to start it off that way, because we even heard later from Adam Cole out of nowhere. Like we had more segments to this storyline, but here in this storyline, in this match, which was an amazing match, by the way, just the sequence between all three guys. Like we knew we were going to get this, which is why I'm so excited now what's happening later. But they had so many amazing sequences. There was like double submission moves by Pete Dunne with a double.
It was a good match.
Finger break. There was so many good spots, and like they worked really well. All three guys worked amazingly with each other in this match. To have Adam Cole come out and just ruin it, laying everybody out, hitting everybody with the chair, taking out Kyle O'Reilly. I'm good. I'm done. And then going attacking him again in the back. No, I'm good.
He did a Seth Rollins.
Him and Seth Rollins are exactly the same at this point with how they're handling their opponents. No, I'm good. And just going over and attacking him again, which I love. I thought this was great. And this led to another segment where Adam Cole comes out and he calls out Karrion Kross, telling him, like, no, you cannot forget about me. I am the one who made NXT. I'm the one that held this belt for 408 days. I took out the three of their top guys by myself in one night. I want you, Karrion Kross. And having Karrion Kross come out and just be straight up, just not even just in like how he would normally talk, and be like, no, I'm gonna handle you. Like, you're asking for this ass kicking, you're gonna get it. So you can't hide from me anymore. And before they can even really start brawling out again, William Regal comes out, and he in the middle, as William's gonna say something, Karrion Kross,
you're not gonna squirm your way into this title match, Adam. Oh, terrible British accent.
He cuts off William Regal, says, William, shut up. I want all of them. I want Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. I want Kyle O'Reilly. I want Pete Dunne. So they're making a furious 5-way match for the NXT Championship at In Your House. So if that match was any indication, was just 3. Imagine 5.
It's going to be
5
chaos.
Of the best wrestlers that they have in NXT for one title. Oh,
it's going to be absolute chaos.
But utter mayhem.
Yeah, but it's worth noting, talking about Karrion Kross here. Stephen Hall poses this question: do you think Kross will lose the title at TakeOver without being pinned, as a way to keep him looking strong heading into the main roster? Now, it is worth noting that there has been several reports and several rumors that they want to have Karrion Kross fast-tracked to the main roster. That has not been confirmed. There is no indication that he is going to be brought up. But if you were to bring him up, that would be the smart way to do it. Not have him pinned, keep him looking strong, make his debut the very next night on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown. So there's no confirmation, but I think that if you were going to, have him drop the title, that'll probably be the right way to do it. Stephen Chambers here chiming in the comments. Cole called him an overrated musclehead.
Mr. Cole, Mr. Overrated. Like, ooh.
I gotta tell you, man.
And he threw the water bottle, and he almost hit Scarlett, but Karrion
that did not sit well with him.
The timing was perfect, where he just like saved her, and he got pegged in the back by that water bottle, and it was about to hit Scarlett.
Yeah, that did not sit well with him. You could see that in his reaction.
Make sure he doesn't go anywhere. I'm talking to him before I leave today. I'm pretty sure that was completely shoot. Like, it might be partly in character, but I'm sure he wanted to have some words with one Austin Jenkins before he left that building after almost hitting Scarlett Bordeaux with that bottle of water unexpectedly.
Yeah, man. But it was also pretty cool, the back and forth, especially when Adam Cole was calling him out, and the promo that they were having the back and forth between him, Karrion Kross, and Adam Cole was probably one of the best promos I've seen in a while on NXT in the main title picture. Just because, Finn was great and everything, but just having an Adam Cole who is amazing on the mic and also in ring that we know, and Karrion Kross, who's just on another level right now with barbarian status, just like killing everyone at NXT. And you have this David versus Goliath type of formula, and the fact that Adam Cole is super short, which Karrion Kross called him out on that. Sup, little guy. I thought it was great because it's like, okay, I might be a little guy, but you know what? I'm the best wrestler here. You can't even lace my boots. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Adam Cole has a point, and we'll see. We'll see the interaction in your house. Is gonna be great.
Just imagine, because that's a great idea of try to bring him up to the main roster and still keeping him strong by not having him lose. But imagine if in this match he wrecks everybody. How dominant would Karrion Kross look?
Who faces him? Who takes him down in NXT? If he takes down everyone, if he does a Roman Reigns and stacks everyone on top of each other and pins all 5 of these guys,
he does that.
That'd be just like ridiculous. That's just like he's unbeatable. He might as well just relinquish the title and just move out to Raw or SmackDown, whichever.
Just imagine if he did that. The only thing is, this is a pay-per-view match with one Adam Cole, Bay, and one Johnny Gargano. So there's way too many false finishes that are going to happen because of just those two guys. But if it wasn't for Adam Cole and for Johnny Gargano, I could easily see, like, if it was like a triple threat between Kyle and Pete Dunne, if he just wrecked them and just squashed both of them, just to assert dominance and just, again, like you said, who could possibly be good enough? Who could possibly be good enough to defeat one Karrion Kross if he gets through this gauntlet of 4 guys? You can only bring in Walter or bring somebody down. Because you could have brought somebody down to NXT. That's not happening. But Walter is the only other person I could think. Walter and like Ilya are the only 2 people that are crazy enough to really like stand a chance against this Karrion Kross.
Guys, sound off in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about Kross going into NXT TakeOver in your house in that fatal 5-way match. Tell us your early predictions. Let us know who you're going with in that main event. And if you're also just tuning in, make sure you are subscribing to the Sporskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure you're setting your notifications. Set that notification bell on so that way you never, ever miss when we drop new content, new videos, new live streams. Same thing on Facebook. Make sure you set your notifications to see first, so that way whenever we have breaking news, like the huge news we had today of all the WWE releases, again, with Braun Strowman being released, Ruby Riott, Aleister Black, all those guys, we have all that coverage and all of our and on our YouTube and in our Facebook, and also on our podcast feed. Make sure you are subscribing to our podcast on Anchor FM, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your major podcasts. If you don't want to watch the video, you know what? Go and listen to the audio on your ride home. You can listen to all the news reports. You can listen to the breaking news. You can listen to the Inside Cradle, to Legion of Raw with Vince Russo and Chris Featherstone. And Friday nights, Dirty Dutch Mantel and Rico Chino cover Smack Talk. And Wednesday nights, myself, the Debrief, Rico, and myself. So make sure you're subscribing to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share and like tonight's show. All right, Rico, let's move on to Jake Atlas, because Jake Atlas had a really good good showing against LA Knight, who thought he had this in the bag. But let me talk to you, Rico. Let me talk to you real quick.
Yeah. Oh,
is Jake Atlas going to be Jay Millions?
Hell no. I love the storyline. I'm enjoying this. That's a nice swerve to have Jake Atlas be the new guy for Ted DiBiase.
Hey, that'll show how progressive the $1 Million Man is.
It is, yeah, especially with it being Pride Month and everything that with Jake Atlas and everything he's done on social media, which I think is awesome. But I just thought this whole storyline, I'm enjoying it because of the people involved. With Cameron Grimes, with LA Knight dropping that promo early, walking to the ring, dropping a promo. Yeah, go and put on my monkey. Go and put on my music, monkey. Yeah, yes. LA Knight's time.
Love it.
Drops that promo, and then having Ted DiBiase come out, and then Cameron Grimes, of course, coming out to talk to him during the match. But you can't sleep on Jake Atlas. Like, he is one talented individual, bright, shiny, blazer and all. Which, like you said, like, I would not be surprised if that ends up being that end of the storyline. But this was a fun match to watch, especially with the back and forth. And because of the fallout of this match, with Jake Atlas getting once again the upper hand over somebody trying to get the affection of $1 Million Man, we're going to have a one-on-one match at TakeOver in your house. We are going to get, once again, Cameron Grimes to the moon versus L.A. Knight. So I'm looking forward to that one, too, because we know Ted DiBiase is going to get involved. Pretty sure Jake Atlas will get involved. But this is going to be entertaining, especially if they keep up just the promo work from these guys and just the personalities that are involved, which are hilarious. So I'm looking forward to this one.
We got Matthew Saraki here saying $1 Million Man has to be with a heel. So clearly Cameron Grimes is not the heel here anymore. He's done. So do we think that LA Knight gets the big win at TakeOver? Who knows? We still got a few more weeks to build this up.
We got
a week. But I am thoroughly enjoying this storyline. It started off just with Cameron Grimes shopping to having this competition with the $1 Million Man, getting outbid, getting outbought, and now we have this rivalry to see who's going to be the one to represent the $1 Million enterprise. So it's going to be interesting, and I hope that LA Knight does get that position, man.
It should be. It should so be LA Knight. He's perfect for it.
He really is. He really is perfect for that role.
But I was gonna say this. We also have another match that looks like it's slated for TakeOver in your house, and these are two incredibly talented women that looks like are going to be finally facing off. Where we have Zia Lee, who cut a promo against Mercedes Martinez, bringing back the history in the first ever Mae Young Classic, where we had this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed youngster and Zia Lee, doing her great, her martial arts performances before every match, and she got choked out. She got put to sleep in the Dragon Sleeper by one Mercedes Martinez, and she told her, "I didn't forget. I'm gonna make up for this. I'm gonna make this right." As well, we've got the response promo from Mercedes later on, which I thought was another badass one because she's just the baddest of who she is. We're finally possibly going to get this hard-hitting match between Zia Lee, this new Zia Lee.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good.
And Mercedes Martinez.
This is going to be good. And I absolutely love the callback to the Mae Young Classic. You don't know how important that is.
Storybooking.
Yes, absolutely. Just because back then, Zia Lee, we knew about Zia Lee, but Zia Lee seemed to be very, very green back at the Mae Young Classic, going up against a veteran in Mercedes Martinez. And you can see in the match that, Mercedes didn't want to, do this, but now we have a whole different version of Zia Lee, a badass version at that. And now with her association with Tian Shaw, getting these supernatural powers, all this physical training, Mercedes Martinez better watch out because Zia Lee is coming for some revenge. She does not want to go through that loss ever again. And I think this is probably that moment to do that. Plus, Mortal Kombat Zia Lee. Yes, push Mortal Kombat Zia Lee.
Oh, I can't wait. Hopefully, this is going to be a continuance of what they've done with Zia Lee. This full 180 that they pulled with her character. And just continue. I want to know more. I want to know more with Tian Shaw. I want to know what more with this faction can do together with what's Mei Ling's power. Because even throughout this whole thing, like when they cut back from Zia Lee, she was there, with her long hair and her creepy eyes. We got the new Conjuring movie came out. It's very creepy and horror reminiscent of that. So I think if there's going to be a time for her to get that one back and really continue to build on the Zia Lee character and put her on top to make her believable as a potential challenger to the NXT Women's Championship, it's going to be a solid win against Mercedes Martinez. So hopefully they give her that platform to make it happen and continue to push her.
I hope so.
They've been doing.
I hope so. And I like the vignettes that they're doing with Zia Lee. They just really need to believe in her and just let her go. But speaking of some new faces coming up to NXT, we got to see the debut of Carmelo Hayes taking up on Kushida's open challenge for the Cruiserweight title, and Carmelo impressed. Were you impressed with? I wasn't too much of a fan of being a little too cocky, but I was a fan of him being, good in the ring and enough to kind of bring it to Kushida.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll bring somebody that we're not as familiar with to be like a squash talent for somebody. No, they gave somebody that can go toe to toe with Kushida. And I was really impressed with Carmelo Hayes. I want to see more of him. You know, I don't want him to fall in line with like Hit Row or anything like that. Let him be himself. Let him be a more serious Leon Ruff. Like, Leon Ruff is talented, but I don't know. It seems like he's too forced to be a babyface. I feel like with Carmelo, you can actually have a guy that's, you know, he's a little cocky, he's arrogant because he's confident in himself, but he's not going to be taken lightly. Like, he went toe-to-toe with Kushida. He went blow for blow with Kushida, and we even saw it at the end with the sign of respect, where even though Kushida did get the win with the hoverboard lock, he made it a point to stay there in the ring and have the crowd acknowledge, you know, Carmelo Hayes and give him the handshake at the end. Like, so this is somebody that we are going to see in the Cruiserweight division for a good while, and he's going to be a champion sooner rather than later. So I'm excited to see more of Carmelo Hayes. I'm glad that they gave him this kind of spotlight, and even though in a losing effort, he impressed me. I'm more excited to see. I'm excited to see more of him, I should say.
Sound off in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on Carmelo Hayes' debut against Kushida last night on NXT. I thought he did, like I mentioned, I thought he did a really good job going up against Kushida, going blow for blow. The sky is the limit for Carmelo. So let's keep a close eye on Carmelo. He had an impressive debut against a veteran. So we just got to keep our eyes out on them. We also got to see the reigning NXT Women's Tag Team Champions from the way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, going up against Zoe Stark and Zeta Ramir, with the champs getting the solid win. But that's not the story. The story here is the 80s rock ballads and heartbreak that Indy Hartwell's going through with Dexter Lumis. What's up here?
So much teenage angst, and I love everything that they're doing with the storyline. We had them being interviewed before their match, and Indy's not able to focus. She's listening to, like you said, 80s rock power ballads, and she just has all these emotions. And then Can's like, no,
love.
Make sure you take it off.
Feeling.
Yeah. So she makes it a point to take the headset and her phone basically and put it on the little, like, a barrel that they had back there. And of course, cuts to later, we have Dexter Lumis, and he goes up and he picks it up and he hears it, and then just the tears on his face. It's so corny, but I love it. I love that that's what happened. So this storyline is still far from over, but it goes to show, even with that kind of distraction going on, Indy is still delivering in the ring, man. She has really stepped up ever since she's been aligned with The Way and teamed with Candice LeRae. So you can tell she's learning a lot. But it looks like we do have a new tag team in the form of Zoe Stark and Zeta Ramir. So speaking of another person relatively new who has been really shining as of late. So it looks like now we have an actual legit tag team that could potentially challenge for those titles at some point, but not anytime soon, with The Way still getting the win.
Yeah, man. And that's what's going to happen. They're always going to get the win.
I want to know what love is. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what? I'm hoping that NXT next week on the Go Home show for Takeover in Your House, they put a vignette and play power ballads of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, and just put a quick video package together, like a 90-second video package with all the power ballads and all the cheesy cuts and transitions. I want to see that leading up to Takeover in Your House. Here's a question from Stephen Hall saying, do you foresee any titles changing hands at Takeover? As to me, other than the possibly Cross, I think all the title holders are pretty safe as it stands.
No, there's one team, and still we haven't really found out what the conclusion of this whole storyline is going to be. They have 1 week to figure out what's going to happen. I think, and we'll just talk about it real quick, I think we should have a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It should be a fatal four-way, and the winner, and soon to be recognized as NXT #1, Grizzled Young Vets need to take those titles off of MSK. I love MSK. They're great. They're extremely talented. We saw them, we'll talk about the main event a little bit, but I want to see Grizzled Young Vets get the title. They freaking deserve it.
They're overdue for those titles.
Way overdue.
They're way overdue, and
Poppy
Poppy
should cover those power ballads. That would be great. Yeah.
I petition to that, Matthew Saraki.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want to hear Poppy singing some White Snake, but with her voice.
Yes. All the yes.
I want to hear
That'd be amazing.
Sorry, that's terrible.
All impersonations aside, that's a great idea. Poppy should cover the power ballad as the way it comes out for the women's NXT Tag Team Championship match, and have like Dexter Lumis just be there on the guitar, just like crying, but just still like strumming the guitar, something like that. Anything that you can do with Poppy and keep adding to the storyline would be great.
All right, man. Did we already touch on Ember Moon and Raquel?
We have not. So, speaking of one former tag team to another tag team, because of what happened with the attack from Raquel Gonzalez to Shotzi Blackheart last week, Ember Moon comes right out, and this was right after, I think it was right after the match too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where like she just wants to hold the show hostage, and she calls out the champ herself, Raquel Gonzalez, upset about what they did to
The funny
Shotzi.
thing about this actual segment is that it was immediately after Adam Cole had interrupted the show.
So
and
now
then
she
Ember Moon comes out to interrupt the show even further.
I'm still going to hold this show hostage and get my point across. Adam just got his point. My point is I'm not happy with what you did, Shotzi. So I want to take out your little lapdog in Dakota Kai next week. But it looks like we have the number one contender, it looks like, for the women's NXT Championship. So I'm pretty sure Ember is going to wreck Dakota next week. And we're going to get Ember versus Raquel Gonzalez, which it wouldn't be that bad of a match at NXT Takeover in your house.
Not at all. And Ember has been on a roll ever since she gave her that huge eclipse last week. That was, just taking out Raquel. Raquel did not sit well with Raquel. So I think Raquel generally has a gripe with Ember Moon. And I would love to see Ember Moon as a 2-time champion. It's just not going to happen right now.
Oh, no. No. If I had to put money on any of these matches, it's Raquel retaining the title.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have an NXT Tag Team Championship match last night. It was MSK going up against Legado del Fantasma. MSK still showing that they have been dominant, probably the best. I'm gonna hate saying this, the best tag team in WWE right now, because the Raw Tag Team Champions ain't that good. There, it's AJ and Omos, but we know where this is going. And then on SmackDown we got Dominic and Ray, which is fine. They're big names, but they're not putting the names or they're not putting in the work like these kids are doing over here at NXT. They're hell of entertaining, but I don't know if you noticed, but there was plenty of booing for MSK last night in the crowd. Plenty of booing. And I think a lot of people kind of have that sentiment that is okay, they're getting stale. They're not doing anything with the character. I think it's time for a change in the tag team division. GYV. It's time for GYV. We need to get GYV in that title picture sooner rather than later, before the crowd fully turns on MSK. What do you think?
Yeah, that's why I assumed we're going to have some sort of fatal four-way, because in the middle of this match, which was a solid match between MSK and Legado del Fantasma, we did have Grizzled Young Vets about to make their appearance felt, but out comes Timothy Thatcher and Old Man Ciampa to even up the playing field, and they all start attacking each other on the outside, but winds up, again, distracting everybody, but MSK winds up getting the upper hand and retaining those titles. Put a fatal four-way match. We already have a Furious 5-way, so if you're gonna do a fatal four-way, make it different. Put a ladder into there, make it a ladder match for those tag team titles, and that way you can have somehow it looks like MSK is about to retain, but the Grizzled Young Veterans sneakily find a way, tossing somebody's shoe off because it's Zach Gibson and throwing it, and somehow distracting MSK, letting them get the opportunity to win those titles. Then you can have MSK, chase the titles and really have to find it within themselves. What do they have to do to get those titles back? And maybe you have to, kind of get a little bit more heelish than what you would expect to see from these guys in order to get that back from GYV. You can do a lot more personality in the chase than you can with maintaining it. So as much as I'm enjoying MSK's run, I think it should end. Give it to somebody else. just so he can keep shaking it up, man. Make NXT Tag Team Wrestling great again. And one way you can do it is just shake up, bro. Just shake it up a little bit. Give it to GYV because they've freaking earned it.
I completely agree. So overall, man, what do you give NXT this week? Best score out of 10. And you guys, make sure you put in the comment section what's your score for this week's NXT before we jump into this week's preview for AEW Dynamite.
Ooh, I'll give it I feel like around like 7. Give it a nice solid 6.5, 7 stars. Just because we have an amazing main event, the Furious 5-Way for that NXT Championship, and the way that they did it too, having it open up the show with an amazing triple threat match, even though there was a dusty finish, it was still an amazing match. And then having the amazing promo from Adam Cole, which again, he's the dorkiest person in real life, but when he is Adam Cole with that mic in his hand, bro, he's untouchable. He speaks hot fire. He's Dylan. He's the 5 greatest rappers of all time. Dylan, because he spits hot fire with his promos, even up against a guy taller than him and one Karrion Kross. He doesn't care because he is Adam Cole, baby. And then, of course, just the amazing performance from Carmelo Hayes, just the tease of Zio Lee and Mercedes Martinez, knowing we're gonna get Ember versus Raquel. So it's a nice solid setup when you only have 2 weeks. So next week is already the go home for TakeOver in your house. I thought this was a solid 7 out of 10 to really get the ball rolling for that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I thought this was around 8.5 for me, to be completely honest, just because the main event was good, but we got to get Adam Cole back on TV, man. That's great. He essentially inserted himself into the main event of NXT Takeover in your house, which is awesome. And then we're going to get a treat with Ember Moon and Raquel Gonzalez. I mean, this is TakeOver. They pretty much used this episode to kind of give us the big scope of TakeOver in your house come the 11th. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be another great one, man.
All right, man. Stephen Hall here saying 7 out of 10. That's what he's given NXT. Steven Chambers, a lot of Stevens in here. He's giving it an 8. And again, guys, put your comments in, chime in the comments. Let us know what your score is for this week's NXT. Another question here from Dan William Koziak. Did y'all think Adam Cole should get called up or stay in NXT?
I thought he was getting called up until he showed up last night on NXT. Because like I said, I kind of already forgot about him in the NXT title picture because we had the triple threat with Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and Kyle O'Reilly. I assumed he was ready to get called up. But no, he found a way. If there's anybody that can finagle their way into an NXT championship match, it's one Adam Cole, baby. So it looks like he's staying around for a little bit, but somebody, you just have that feeling, especially with what happened today. Somebody's moving over, whether it's Karrion Kross, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne. Somebody needs to move over to really fill those spots. And we'll see who it is. It'll be very telling in your house. And I think there we'll kind of have an idea of who we see is going to be moving over to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. All right, man, let's move things over to All Elite Wrestling. We're coming off the heels of Double or Nothing this past Sunday. And before we jump into this preview of this Friday's AEW Dynamite, make sure you're subscribing to YouTube, to the Sporskeeda Wrestling channel on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. And then after that, hit that notification bell so that way you never, ever miss new videos, new live streams, breaking news like we had earlier today, covering the major news coming out of WWE of all the big names being released from the company. You can go and check that out on demand right now. Monday nights, we got Legion of Raw and with Vince Russo and Chris Featherstone covering and reviewing Raw. Friday nights, Dirty Dutch Mantel covering and reviewing SmackDown along with Rick Ucchino and Kevin Kellum and myself every afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, every afternoon at 6 p.m., covering the top story of the day or something earlier if something else breaks like we did today. So make sure you are setting your notifications to see first so you never, ever miss a post, a live stream, or a new video. All right, man. So let's jump into All Elite Wrestling to AEW. Where this is going to be the show after their big pay-per-view. What do you think happens here? We saw that Britt Baker became the new AEW Women's Champion. We saw Mark Henry make his AEW debut. What's this Friday's AEW Dynamite looking like, Rico?
Well, first of all, just like you said, so their newest commentator for the new show that's up and coming on TNT and AEW Rampage, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. He did show up there at Daly's Place at Double or Nothing as they announced him as that new commentator, but he's actually going to speak. So much like we had Paul White make his televised debut on Dynamite before starting Dark Elevation, we are going to hear from Mark Henry, which I think is awesome. We absolutely do need to have a celebration for one Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, after that much deserved title win. Like being there, I will tell you, the energy was so hyped the entire time. The only match that was the crowd just died and we did not enjoy it was when Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo.
Yo,
nobody was feeling
quiet.
That. We were not feeling that match at all.
Nobody
wanted that match.
So when you were there, what was the energy like? Because when I was watching across the stream, like I didn't hear the pop that I thought I was going to hear for Cody, because he usually gets a pretty reasonable. Like I didn't hear anything like that.
Nobody wanted it. Everybody was dying to pop the entire night. We popped for freaking Serena Deeb and Riho, and we knew Serena Deeb was going to win, and they had that match. But the crowd was just so anxious to cheer that they wanted to cheer everything. We did cheer everything, especially for Jungle Boy and Britt Baker. Like, we didn't care if they were a heel or babyface. The entire crowd, but you can tell we're a whole bunch of smarks because we wanted Britt Baker to win and we wanted Jungle Boy to go over on Christian Cage. Those were the two biggest things that we wanted. The one thing that we didn't want out of the entire night was seeing Anthony Ogogo in the ring, because they knew he wasn't ready, and he improved. He improved. He took some spots.
I got to take my words back, because he impressed me.
We thought it was going to be bad. We thought
it was going to be bad. He did actually really well against Cody. But I just think, do you think the promos that Cody has been giving over the last few weeks have hurt him with his fan base?
The only thing that would make it worth it is if this was his heel turn and he became Homelander, because that's exactly what he looked like in that gear.
He looked like American Okada.
Yeah, but he was trying to be, but it came off to me more like Homelander. Like, that's what he needs to be. He needs to be that he thinks he's the hero in his story, but everybody knows that the way he's doing it makes him a heel. Like, to me, that's the only way justifying it.
So do you think backstage he's having like conversations with Brandon? He's like, why don't they love me? Why don't they adore me? I give them everything.
Yeah. I think that's literally what happened with those groups, those test groups that he's running these promos with. I think that's exactly what it is. Like, they're saying yes because it's Cody, but not like being real with him and like, this coming off a bit, not in the right way. So other than that, like the crowd, the entire pay-per-view was amazing except for this match. But it's not over, because on Friday night we're gonna get a tag team match. Cody Rhodes and Big Shotty Lee Johnson are gonna go up against QT Marshall and one Anthony Ogogo. And I know that you love how I pronounce that. So this storyline is not over between the Nightmare family and the Factory. So that's going to continue. Like I said, Britt Baker deserves that celebration after a big win.
Absolutely.
We're going to get a bull rope match between Nick Comoroto, who showed out in that Casino Battle Royal, looking like the Sasquatch that he is, going up against Dustin Rhodes, because, of course, they did face off in the Casino Battle Royale, and it's another Factory versus Nightmare Family matchup, but in a bull rope match, which, of course, we know Dustin Rhodes did win the last one. So I don't see Nick Comoroto losing to Goldust in this one. But one match I'm extremely looking forward to, we are getting the AEW Tag Team Champs in the Young Bucks going up against 2/3 of Triángulo de la Muerte in the Bastard Pac and Penta.
Is this a title match?
Miedo. They didn't specify it's a title match. I hope it is, but and I hope that Penta comes out in that Joker gear, because that Joker setup is freaking awesome.
That's only pay-per-view gear, bro. He's not gonna put that on Friday. It's only pay-per-view gear. Question here from Stephen Hall. He's saying, do you think the bubble has slightly burst for AEW as the last 3 major events, Revolution, Blood and Guts, and Double or Nothing, have had main events which have been considered somewhat letdowns?
I honestly don't feel like they have been letdowns. Like, so, and speaking in this last one, so they did half televised, half, pre-recorded for Stadium Stampede, which I still found hella entertaining between the Pinnacle and, of course, the Inner Circle. I thought it was awesome.
Now, that whole thing was live, right? You guys were watching on the big screen, or was it pre-taped?
So parts of it were pre-taped. There's no way in hell that rappelling section was done live. Like, there's no way they would have almost shown Chris Jericho falling to his death. Because if you look, as he rappelled down, he got knocked off the board, got 20 feet away from it before slamming back into it, but they cut away. No way that was not pre-recorded. And the whole interest that they have with the flames and all that stuff. Okay. I think that was all pre-recorded. I think everything else was done live because they did cut back into the actual arena. So the spot on the second floor on the balcony with MJF and Chris Jericho, where Chris Jericho powerbombed MJF through whatever it was. We did get to really see Sammy Guevara actually get some retribution with the golf cart, and he actually did hit Shawn Spears, and we saw it coming down on the bottom right side of the amphitheater when he actually did hit him with the go-kart. And then, of course, we got to see the finale where it was Sammy Guevara versus Shawn Spears in the ring in the middle of Daly's place. So it was a bit of both, but I could tell it was probably slightly more pre-recorded for all the backstage stuff. Gotcha. But they finished a lot of those big spots in person, which I really enjoyed. So honestly, I think that lived up to the hype. Was it as good as the other one? I would say no, just because of the spots that we had with Nick Jackson.
It was different.
It was different. It was better. It was different.
Because the difference between this Stadium Stampede and last year's is that last year's most of the match stayed on the field and around Daly's place. Yeah. This year they went throughout the entire stadium, and then you had all the storylines mixed up into one big storyline because you have one storyline with Wardlow and Jake Hager. Then you have the other storyline with Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara. You have the other storyline with Jericho and MJF. So you have all these side action. So it just kind of felt like a B-rated live action movie because they're cutting from one fight team to another fight team to another fight team to another, and then the finale. So it was good. It was hella entertaining, but the first one was better.
I just hope for the next one they find a way to really, do it all out and have it like the Red Zone channel of NFL where you have 5 games going on. So you literally have the 5 storylines going on, but you just have one, it's all on one screen with 5 segments, but you have the one they're focusing on being blown up a little bit more. It's and they cut to different one. Yeah. So you can still see it because I would still want to see what happened in that club because we got to see the return of Orale.
Yeah, that was good.
We got the LAX reunion here at Stadium Stampede, which I thought that was a fun segment in that bar where, Tully served them all shots before they got to fighting. And then Conan got involved when Tully tried to get involved. I enjoyed those kind of spots. So it's those kinds of things that I hope they would keep showing just to see what else happened, even if it's not important. Even though they're just punching each other and slamming each other, just have it there a little screen so you can if I want to see what Santana Ortiz and FTR are doing, let's see that. But this is the main focus. It's Wardlow and Jake Hager in the freezer, with the big piece, with a big pig just hanging there chilling. And, almost seeing a murder when Wardlow wanted to stab Jake Hager with an icicle.
Oh, God, with an icicle. Oh, God.
With the perfect murder weapon because it melts and you have no fingerprints on it. So, yeah, just like you said, it's different. It was different from last year. We didn't get a pool of reincarnation like we got to see the many faces of Matt Hardy, or we got to see the Matt Jackson doing the Northern Lights suplex for 50 yards or down the entire field doing that. But we did get to see my head coach now, one Urban Meyer, make his debut on AEW. And I believe it's the defensive coach. And they were giving the ball to Chris Jericho as he was launching him at MJF. So we have another backup quarterback if we need it. One Chris Irvine will be our 4th string quarterback. And we even had a nice little vignette nice little special cameo by our owner, Shad Khan, who was there in the little cutout. Chris Jericho was just pat him on the head. So I enjoyed it, especially it being there in Jacksonville. So I don't think it failed to live up to the hype. The only one that I feel that list that you gave me was the ultimate exploding barbed wire death match with the pyro.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think Blood and Guts lived up to it. I think this match lived up to the main event. So yeah, I won't be too harsh. It's different. Just remember, it's different than what we expect to see from what we get on WWE. So,
well, let's read some comments here from all of our viewers here. Adrian Harper Jr. saying Penta is awesome. Yes, he is. Dan William Kuziak is saying AEW just needs to learn how to develop its own talent instead of hiring released WWE talent.
Jungle Boy. Look at Jungle Boy. That's what they're doing.
Steve Chambers is saying the feud is not going to be over between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. James Allward is saying, I heard that it took 4 days to film the Stampede. I believe that.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Daniel Soto commenting on Facebook, hey, is it true WWE is for sale and by who? That is not true. There has not been any confirmation on that.
Speculation.
There's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, but no. The answer is no. WWE is not for sale, and we don't know who it's going to be sold for if it is for sale. But no.
If it is, there's only 2 names that I can think of, and that's NBC Universal, because it makes the most sense for them to buy the complete rights as opposed to leasing it for what they're doing for Peacock, or the owner of all things, all hail Disney, because Disney buys everything, and we can get a WWE theme park over here in Orlando, Florida. So I wouldn't be against that either. And we can make Roman Reigns a Disney princess. So yes, those are the only 2 names that are going to be that can potentially buy WWE.
Let the record reflect that Rico is the one that said that let's see Roman princess. Let the record show that it wasn't princess. Jose G. It was Rico El Glorioso that said that. All right. Dan William Kuziak is saying, like the better in the old days when there wasn't a pay-per-view every month and the storylines were dragged out longer and storylines are better.
Yeah, but money. But at least that's the thing. That's AEW isn't doing pay-per-views every single month. Theirs are far and few in between. It's just they have the same big ones, which is Double or Nothing. We now know that the official date for All In, which is going to be September 9th. All Out. I keep forgetting. It's always one or the other.
It's All In or All Out, bro.
And then the other one that they're having, and of course of their beginning of their schedule in July. So, I'm okay. What did Dan say?
I'll read it in just a moment, but he's saying that he agrees with you. I'm okay with Jungle Boy, but I meant for them to create someone like a Goldberg or a WCW. You need a big guy. You need a big guy. But Dan also makes a comment here. If Disney buys WWE, we will never get out of the PG era. But the Roman Princess line was pretty awesome, Rico.
No, we got Deadpool and Disney, and Deadpool's gonna be rated R, so they'll find a way.
The Rock will finally become his Moana character. Yes.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, with that cue there, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight here on tonight's debrief here on Sporskeeda Wrestling. Make sure you're watching and subscribing to all of our content on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also that notification bell so that way you know whenever we go live, just like we did tonight for the debrief, just like we did earlier today for the breaking news. Monday nights with Legion of Raw, Friday nights with Smack Talk, and all the new video content. We got daily news roundups every single morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, dropping tomorrow. We're going to have another round of that. Excuse me. Another round of that. And more breaking news coming tomorrow. Hopefully we don't get any more releases, but count on another report here on Sporskeeda Wrestling. Remember, guys, when watching wrestling, Rico, what's the most important thing they can do when watching wrestling?
So really quick, before you enjoy wrestling, you have to wish my brother here, Jose, a very happy birthday. It is his birthday tomorrow. So you guys make sure in the comments here on his personal, all his social media, give some love to Jose G. He is one of the best people I know on this planet. Show him that love. But other than showing him that love to my brother here, make sure you enjoy wrestling.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.